What's happening, everybody? Welcome back. This is Forgo, and today we're going to talk about Sharon Rogers' new uniform, aka Sailor Moon or Harley Quinn. She does kind of look like both of those characters quite a bit, but I will say this, guys, in game, she does look a lot better. I still don't really like the aesthetics of the uniform, but I do like her weapon. That damn thing looks insane, and they really, like, it looks pretty damn awesome in her kit. I will say that the weapon is honestly the highlight of the new uniform, which is kind of wacky, but they did a few things for the character. They did, while this here is pretty much the same as what it was, the tier 3 is pretty much the same as what it was, but they did give her a nice little damage proc by 60% for one attack. I don't think that her old uniform had that damage proc. Let me take a look here real quick. I don't think it did. Pretty sure it didn't. Yeah, it didn't have that. So that was something they did change that will help her or make her a little bit stronger than what she previously was. And then also her fifth skill, guys, is just a slight delay, and you get a massive heal by 35% of HP instead of 10%. This alone is going to make the uniform worth buying for a lot of players. They also got rid of her 30% decrease from physical damage received on her passive here, and they did give her a solid decreased damage received on her uniform effect by 40%. This is another reason why this is probably going to be a good uniform to buy, because power-wise, it doesn't seem to be like leagues and bounds stronger, maybe a little bit stronger, but really not by much, right? And her gameplay is exactly the same. You're pretty much going to play her the same way that we've always played her. But let's see, she's got chain damage by 25%. She has chain endurance by 25%. So yeah, those are the things that they changed for the character. And when it comes to, how her skills look, I mean, her 5 now, guys, is pretty sweet because you do get that heal immediately. But it is a slight delay. And I mean a slight delay. If you let that thing play out for any longer than half a second, you're going to start doing damage, and you're going to send off the proc, or you're going to proc the proc is actually what I meant to say, right? But a third skill, you need to cancel that thing super fast, guys. She just starts doing hits really quick instead of just kind of stalling, which kind of sucks. You need to be really quick with that 3. In fact, you need to be really quick when playing in this new uniform. With the other uniforms that she had, you could actually do a little bit more delay, right? But with this uniform, you got to be fast, right? Her 2 is kind of nice because it does move around. This can actually get her out of danger, which does help her in her survivability already. And again, guys, survivability is an issue that Sharon has had for a long time, and it's definitely better in this uniform, but I still don't think it's really great. Her 5th skill, right? And then you see the weapon come charging down. That's awesome, right? That looks so cool. I'm not going to lie. That looks cool. And then her 4th skill, she does an iframe at the very beginning, and then she goes into where she can actually take damage, which is what you want. I'm actually kind of surprised that they don't have her set up to where she isn't in an iframe at all on the 4th skill, because in all honesty, guys, for a character like Sharon Rogers, that's what you would really want. You really don't want to see some iframe at the beginning of this, because she is going to take damage. Now, in certain game modes, she will take damage even during that iframe, so do keep that in mind. But I think it'd be a little bit nicer if they wouldn't have done that. It's kind of a weird thing, right? It does kind of help her survivability, but you're still trying to deal as much damage as possible. And in order for Sharon to do that, you got to accumulate damage, right? So it's literally 3, 5, and then 4, right? It is a slight delay on that 5, but it is nice getting that heal. Now, something that we all want to touch on in this video is her tier 4, guys. Her tier 4 is actually really godly because it keeps giving her a nice heal, right? This thing is sweet, right? Getting that heal over and over and over, right? And that's going to be a big thing for Sharon Rogers. Like, whenever you take this character to tier 4, and she won't need the uniform for that tier 4, she's going to have that massive heal. So I really would wonder, especially at tier 4, really would you need the uniform? Because the old uniform is still more than strong enough. It's still more than strong enough. Now, here's where we get into some crap. Her uniform options, guys. So the first one, Spider-Man. This isn't bad. A lot of people do have this uniform. And then we have the Hawkeye uniform. This, again, isn't a bad uniform. Free-to-play uniform, pretty strong. Then we get into this. Damnation Dormammu uniform. Terrible. Just abysmal, guys. Very bad. Drax. Horrific. Then we get into this one. a crystal wall character in blue dragon. Oh my god. So that's pretty painful, guys. And there's a lot of people that didn't level up blue dragon, even though she does have a level 80, even though she does have a tier 4, because she really isn't applicable in too many game modes except for world boss legend. And you have to reach high levels before you actually really need her. So a lot of players aren't really going to have her, and they're definitely not going to have that uniform at Mythic, because they need to either buy a mega uniform ticket or spend a bunch of damn crystals to level that damn thing up. So that is just abysmal trash, guys. I mean, that really sucks that they did do that. But let me show you guys some gameplay in her old uniform, right? Let me show you some gameplay in her old uniform. Here we go. And I'm just going to show you guys her survivability. This is stage 49 against Mephisto, right? Now, do keep in mind, I don't have any decreased damage received strikers or fire resist strikers on her, right? But this is just going to show you guys just how much damage she takes, right? It is ridiculous. Like, she just, oh, man. Right? And we procced on tier 3. Another thing, guys, is when I play Sharon Rogers, I try to do her tier 3 every second rotation. And in the Sailor Moon uniform, is what I'm calling it, it can be tricky because you have to be super, super fast. Whereas in this uniform, not so much. All right? And the point of this is to show you guys how fast you can actually clear this here. Right? See how I got to delay that 5 to try to get that heal? And that kind of sucks, guys. That really does. Look at her. Look at how much damage she's taking, guys. She's pretty much down to nothing, and she's going to die here in a blink of an eye. Right? Like, you always got to delay that damn 5. But she broke the first phase in 1 minute. Right? She broke the first phase in 1 minute in her old uniform. So damage isn't the problem, but survivability is the problem. It's a huge problem for this uniform. Now, let me show you in the same stage with her Sailor Moon uniform what she actually does, all right? Now, this is going to be a totally different story, right? Now, to be fully transparent, I am using 2 fire resist strikers because she still does lack survivability, guys. Like, I'm just being straight with you. She still does, but it is way, way better than what it was before. Like, she just has way better survivability than what it was before. Now, there, we actually landed the tier 3. We got the proc on the tier 3, which is pretty damn sweet. Now, I like to throw in that, too, to try to keep being able to use my tier 4 or tier 3 every second rotation. And the second skill is nice because you can move out of danger. But the thing is, she doesn't move immediately. She's not like Thor. It takes her a little bit to get away, right? And there I had to wait for a skill to get off cooldown before I could take damage from that attack. But I wanted to go against Mephisto because a lot of times, guys, you will take chip damage from Mephisto. You will take damage. So I think it's a little bit more, I guess, kind of accurate representation of the difference in damage. But as you guys can see, like, we didn't finish the first phase in 1 minute like we did with the old uniform, but we also have 2 fire resist strikers instead of 2 increased target damage received strikers that we had in the first run, right? We had 20% extra damage, 2 supervillains in the first run. So that does make a difference, and there's always these variables, guys, as far as how much damage you actually take. That's kind of the thing about Sharon Rogers. There's always this a small amount of, or a large amount, depending on the boss you're facing, of RNG as far as taking damage, right? That's kind of the thing about the character, and really the kind of the thing that's always hindered her. In all honesty, I really wish they would have just done something different where she'd been a little bit more reliable to play. But it is a better uniform. I mean, the survivability is definitely way better. I'm even using a debuff with Wasp here to help out, and I used that in the first run also, right? We even get an extra some HP bump from that uniform from Wasp also, which definitely helps Sharon Rogers. But I mean, I really wonder, guys, like, whenever you take the character just to level 80, would you even really need the uniform then? Because when she goes to level 80, guys, she's not going to take as much damage from these bosses. She will not take as much damage from them. So will you really need the uniform? I mean, the uniform definitely is nice because it does give you that instantaneous 35% heal, and it does have that solid decreased damage received by 40%, right? But man, her rotation is so tight now. Like, you really, like, I like it because, it's got a nice little flow to the rotation, but whenever you're doing her tier 4, Man, I mean that five guys, like seriously, it doesn't take long for a weapon to come flying down and trigger that proc early. You have to be really, really careful of it. Now, another thing about her second skill that kind of sucks is whenever you're moving away for like say from the purple attack that you guys just saw, she just kind of halts a little bit at the end of it. And it just sucks. You just can't start immediately running around. So you can still take damage like whenever these like spread attacks are coming after you. So I still feel like Sharon Rogers is a little incomplete. I don't feel like she's a complete character. Yes, damage wise, Sharon is insane. And I guarantee when she goes level 72, she's going to be bonk. Oh, freaking nutso character. But you still see, guys, there's a lot of RNG, and in super high levels against World Boss, and I know some of these whale players out there are really wondering about this, for high levels of Jean and so on. How well will she do? Well, her survivability is still questionable, guys, especially against high levels of someone like Jean. Like, I think she's still going to die super easy, and she's going to need that damn tier 4. She's going to need that tier 4 to keep getting a 15% recovery heal over and over and over, right? She's going to need it, because if she doesn't have it, I think she's just going to get one-shotted and pretty much destroyed, right? But yeah, we're doing really good here. Now, this isn't a perfect run, guys. I did miss my proc on my tier 3 a couple times because, again, guys, it's just such a super tight rotation. And against this part of Mephisto, you really don't want to do your tier 3 because a lot of times Mephisto, he'll keep moving around and you'll actually miss your attack. So I really don't want to do that, right? Better off just to go ahead and pick up the enchantments. I had a little stump for words there, but pick up the enchantments, right? So that way Mephisto gets frozen and we can actually do some damage to him, right? That's when you really want to use that tier 4, whenever you have a character in one place. And that's another thing about a tier 4 or tier 3. It doesn't have a lot of AoE still, so you still have to make sure you're targeting really, really well with that thing, right? So we pick up all these things. But I mean, her old uniform, guys, could do this. Now, granted, it did take me a whole lot more tries and a whole lot more runs to do it. And that's really why you would buy this new uniform, is because of the convenience factor. Because it's just going to be a lot easier to get your clears. Like even at level 72, level 80, it's still going to be a lot easier to get your clears with this uniform, guys. Like, it's still going to be a whole lot better. So what I would recommend to you guys is, if you do like the uniform, if you like the aesthetics of it, then obviously you might want to buy it. If Sharon Rogers is your favorite character, then obviously you'd probably want to buy it. If you want to make your life a whole lot easier in World Boss Legend, then you probably would want to buy it. So you're hearing a lot of you probably want to buy it. But for a lot of players, even like myself, guys, I don't need this uniform at all. I don't think it's going to help me at all unless I decide to go ahead and tier 4 the character. And then it would probably make a difference in like maybe a super high level of certain World Boss Legends. But I feel like for a lot of players, they're really just buying it because it's just going to increase their survivability. It's just going to make her a whole lot more reliable to play. And that in itself really will make it worth it for a lot of players. So in conclusion, guys, should you buy the uniform? Well, if she's your favorite character, yes. If you want to make your life a whole lot better in World Boss Legend, yes. If you've already completed high levels of World Boss Legend and you really don't need to play Sharon Rogers, if you're not really going to use Sharon Rogers, then obviously it's going to be a no. Let me know what you guys think about the new Sharon Rogers uniform, and I do stream on Twitch at 9 p.m. G2+7 time. The link is in the description below, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one. See everybody. Take care.